Hi there, my name is Nathan, and this is Welcome to the Human Experience. And today I'm joined by Ray. We're actually doing like a revisit on an interview we did already, because I felt like basically the quality of the video wasn't very good, audio and video wise. And I wanted to do this story justice because, you know, I've known Ray for many, many years. We've been really good friends, and I know this has had a massive impact on himself, but also, you know, the people around him, friends and family. And there'll be a lot of other people that are going through this kind of situation. So yeah, good to see you anyway, Ray. Good to get together.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to start with that straight away of like, for people that don't know or are unsure, like what is MS?
So it's a neurological condition. So it's all your nervous system, brain and spinal cord kind of thing, and where your there's a coating on your nerves. It's called myelin, and it's like the insulator. It's like on any cable that you have, it's got insulator.
Yeah.
So that's the myelin. That's so if you've got a bunch of cables, you can't have them all like just no insulator because they'll just not work. They'll spark. So all the nerves are covered in that. But in the MS, for some reason, your body thinks that covering is a foreign thing, and it attacks it. Mm-hmm. So then it keeps attacking, and then it attacks the covering, and then it makes like a scar, which is it's called a sclerosis. And then multiple times it attacks that, and there's multiple sclerosis. That's what it stands for. But then when it does it multiple times, then that nerve then stops working. And then when it stops working, then that's why. In my case, my legs don't work very well. But everyone's got a different case with MS. It can affect any part of you, any system.
Yeah, so the way it progresses and what it affects is different in everyone.
Yeah, every single person with MS is different. So.
All right then. So obviously this is something that has unfolded over many, many years, and I wanted to go back to the case of like before you understood to have this condition, before you were diagnosed, you know, going back to your, you know, growing up as a young kid. You was originally born in Africa, right?
Yeah, in Malawi, Malawi.
In Malawi, and you have one brother, one sister, right?
Yes, yeah.
And your mum and dad brought yourself here when you was...
And I was about 4.5.
You was about 4.5?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, nice. Yeah. So you had this kind of...
long time ago,
Yeah, to get used to this kind of place. But you was quite young, obviously, for your family more. Mm-hmm. And then, you went to school as normal. Mm-hmm. There's never been any inclination of anything going on?
No, not school days, no.
So you were like active and into all kinds of things,
Yeah, active at school, playing basketball.
Yeah.
Doing bike rides and things, normal, everything that you do,
And like your PE sessions and just doing your education and stuff like that,
Yeah, all same,
Yeah, nice. And then before MS, what kind of things were you into? What did you like to do?
Same kind of things, really. Kind of basketball, and even before MS, I used to go to the gym a long time ago. But I stopped for a long time. So, but the same kind of things, really. Just to keep fit and things, and not so much going out drinking anymore or anything. But then I think
that can naturally
old age.
change.
I think it's old age. I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wicked. Okay, and I kind of know the story, so I'm asking this from I kind of know where I'm going with that. And then you went on to go uni, and from what I understand, for the people like that are listening, what was the first kind of signs? Because you didn't know what it was, but what were the first kind of signs looking back?
So looking back, the first signs were when because where I was in the halls, I'd have to walk to the university about a few miles away. And then when I was walking, the first kind of things was I think it was my right leg at the time, would start after a while. It wouldn't feel like it's in proper control. Like you put your heel and your ankle down. It would just like kind of hit the floor a little bit, and I have to like walk a bit strange. So I didn't know what that was. I thought it's a bit weird. And yeah, it happened after I've been walking for a while. It would start to happen, and I didn't know what it was.
And did you just ignore that? In a sense,
just ignore it. Yeah,
yeah. Initially,
I thought, it's nothing.
because it'd go back to kind of normal.
Yeah.
It was just after a long walk. Yeah. Okay. And you was at Sheffield at uni, right?
Leeds.
Leeds. Yeah, I knew it was up north. Yeah. And that was what year of uni?
I think it was like the kind of first year of uni.
That was your first year. Yeah. Wow.
First or second year. Yeah. When things like that started to happen. Yeah, I think it was. It was a long time ago. It was back in about 2001, 2002, I think. Yeah.
So over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, from that point on, then what was the next stage of like you noticed the difference in your walking, in your gait? What then was making you more kind of concerned or raising eyebrows?
So then actually in the pizza shop where I used to live, I went to get a pizza with my right hand. I got the pizza box, and then I felt like on my right side just go kind of like drop or just go numb, or not numb, like just not be able to use my right side. So my right arm, my right leg, and it wouldn't be able to, and then it'll freeze for about a minute or so, and then he would come out, and then that was the first big thing of something big's going on. Yeah. And it happened again.
So you kind of let that go as well, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And my partner at the time, she was actually in healthcare, and then she said, "Well, you better get checked out because something's going on." Yeah. So she made me go and go to the Leeds hospital or doctor and get checked out there. So yeah, that was the first time. Yeah. I noticed anything big.
And then when you went to Leeds, because I understand your partner at the time, she was within kind of healthcare. She kind of knew that there was something going on there a bit more, maybe not necessarily serious, but that you should at least get it looked at. Yeah. And what did they say from that initial?
So they run some tests on me, and I think like a high up specialist that was there. But he ran so basically put some electrodes on my head, and then they flash some lights in your eyes. So I think they thought I had some kind of epilepsy, but it's not the one that causes seizures. Like one you have one that which just affects some areas of you, and it's called focal epilepsy. So after a while, they diagnosed me with that, just after not long at all. Yeah. And then they wanted to give me medication for epilepsy. And my partner said, you can't just take that kind straight away.
Yeah, take the word for it on that.
Yeah. So then, it must have been that must have been my second-ish year or something there, or third, probably in the end, where he said, no, you better go. So basically, I just thought, okay then. This is maybe something's causing it here, so I just stopped everything at uni and then went back to Leicester, and then went to the hospitals here to get checked out. And it took another about 6 months before they figured out that it was MS.
And from that time, you've had the episode where you couldn't grab or it froze, and you had another episode. What was the gap? Was that daily, or was that once a week?
Those two happened. They only happened a couple of times over maybe 2 years, and then that didn't
that
didn't happen again. So when I went back to Leicester, it didn't happen again.
Yeah, it was quite spaced out.
So then that could have been, they called it MS. That could have been a flare up. Maybe it started, then it subsides, and then it's maybe just lay dormant for a while again.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but
Yeah.
then it can also be brought on by maybe I was stressed in there, and that's how I brought it on, or just lifestyle maybe. Then they
Yeah.
don't know what causes it.
Yeah. They
But
they
it, but
don't
it,
have
but
a.
stress could be a thing. Maybe I was very stressed, and then
Yeah.
it caused it.
Yeah.
Um,
But
you
as we
don't
know, it's such a generalized thing that stress could cause insomnia,
so many
stress
things.
could
So many
cause
things. Yeah.
weight gain. You know what I mean? So it's
So many
such a
things.
throw in the dark. Yeah.
So many things.
Wow. Okay. So yeah. So as you say, like for people out there again, like you might have certain symptoms and they might be other things anyway.
a
It's
lot
not
of
to
things,
jump
yeah.
to the
A lot of
conclusion
things,
that as
yeah.
soon as you have a moment of
Yeah,
freezing, it's
yeah.
automatically this, that, or the other.
MS, MS. That's why it's so hard to diagnose, because it could be hundreds of things.
Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
that could can mimic other conditions and things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So then in Leicester, you stopped going uni.
Yeah.
Was that to do with that, or was that
Yeah,
just you not
yeah.
wanting to be in that
Yeah, because
environment?
cause I thought I just needed to figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, wow. So it interrupted that
Yeah.
part of your
Yeah.
education. And then when you've got back home, what are you thinking then? That you just need to keep going with getting to the bottom of what's going on, yeah?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I just went to hospital,
Yeah.
did MRI scans and things, and then in the end they came out and said it was MS.
Yeah, okay. And was there anything else that convinced them? You know, for people that are thinking, what was that turning point of them going from the focal epilepsy to that? I mean, you've gone to a different hospital, so obviously they've looked at it a bit more.
And they did scans on my brain and things, and that because there are also some scars on my brain, so that kind of points towards it'd be MS.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So they found more kind of evidence, and just tell me, like, I can obviously imagine what it's like, but what did that feel like? Can you kind of remember that moment when they actually told you, like, what did that feel like?
Long time, yeah. It's just a shock, really, because you don't. I think I kind of knew. I kind of figured out myself in the end.
You looked into it.
Yeah. I looked. I kind of think I figured out myself in the end. There's nothing much you can do. Yeah, exactly. You just you just got to think. Okay, then now, what are you gonna do going forward? Yeah, because then they start laying out like. Medications and things and stuff you're gonna have to start taking, so it's going to be a massive impact on your life.
How can I manage it, basically?
Yeah.
Is part of you thinking, I know for myself how I'd feel is probably like, no, I'm going to stay healthy, I'm going to stay fit, and I'm going to try and ride this out as long as I can with not having any problems. But obviously, ultimately, we know it's beyond that. It's like, it's something you can't control.
No,
You know, you couldn't just eat your way out of this or train your way out of this. No. It's a progressive thing,
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I understand, like, on your immune system to how that is going to, like you say, flare up, or the intensity that it's going to come with.
Exactly.
Then what did you find then? Then was you kind of wanting to live a normal life then? Like, as in you went to work after that?
So started working. Just live a normal life. And just and obviously it starts to progress then, because I could walk a lot further then, and then you start walking a little bit less. A little bit less, because when it start affecting you more. And then you get more fatigue and everything. So so it's just in my case it was a slow decline. And
the next stage, just because we're saying it for people so they can understand your journey, but it doesn't really correlate to anyone else's, because theirs would be a different timescale. But from you having that initial freezing or the where your foot was becoming a bit heavy and gait was changing, when did it take for you to then need a crutch?
So a few years later, I think. So it's a good 2, maybe 3 years. When I was walking less and less and less, and then I thought, okay, then I need some help with walking. So then I started using the crutch, just everyday walking, really, and that carried on for another 4 or 5 years maybe, to the point where even now it's becoming difficult. And then then I started to think about a wheelchair in the end.
Yeah. Because obviously, me being your friend, what I saw is it was more of a struggle for you to get around on the crutch.
Yeah.
So maybe you was putting initially just a bit of weight to help you with your balance, and then it became,
a lot more.
this is really supporting me because one of my legs has maybe gone stiff or frozen.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, then, like you say, you go on to using a wheelchair because it's just too hard to actually try and get around on the crutches.
Yeah, exactly.
How was that feeling within your body? What was that feeling like? Like you just can't tell your legs what to do, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. You can't. Yeah, exactly. You still every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just. It's just weird. It's like you want to tell your legs what to do, and then they don't do anything. So yeah, it's weird, but you just get used to it in the end. Yeah. After a while, you just you can't fight against it, so you just have to get used to it.
Yeah. I definitely think, I know a lot of people that know you.
Yeah.
Your attitude to this is like, amazing. I know you're just probably thinking yourself sometimes, people can over exaggerate and be like, oh, he's really inspiring to be able to just cope with this and get on with it. But I really feel that showed a true character, because I was actually speaking to my partner myself the other day, and we were saying about, it's funny how when people are in a certain situation, they can show you their true colours. So, say someone's really stressed because something's not going right at work, and then they take it out on a colleague, or they're a boss and they take it out on the employees. Like, people can really show their true colours when they're down and out. And I feel like with yourself, you've always been one of them that, even though we've noticed that progress in you, we've always been like, Ray, you want to go out? Ray, we're going, in the younger days, clubbing. Ray, we're going cinema, we're going restaurants. And obviously we've been on holiday together. You've never let it stop you. But in the back of our minds, and I'm sure your mind, we've always thought, like, we know it's difficult for you to, mobility wise more so, and maybe not always acknowledge, being guys, how difficult it was mentally for you. So what would you say of them realization, them steps of going through that, of crutch to wheelchair? What was it feeling like? What were you thinking inside? Was part of you like, why is this happening to me? Or
I don't think I've ever really thought that. Maybe I just thought, things happen to everybody. Everyone's got something going on. I thought, I just thought just try and deal with everything that comes, really. Yeah.
Do you think within your family it was hard for them to deal with as well?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they could see that I was struggling a lot. It's probably going to be always hard for your parents to see that, or your family to see that. But I was never like down. I was never. I don't know. I don't think I almost let myself not get ever depressed about it. Just carry on. Yeah.
And that's amazing. What do you attribute that to staying in a more positive space, despite it's a challenge? You know what I mean? It's obviously
I think it comes from, like, my parents just they went through a lot, coming from Africa to England and stuff. So just came a sense of just feeling sorry for yourself doesn't do anything. Exactly. You just gotta get on with things.
Wow. So seeing their struggle, you appreciated that. Okay, this is my struggle, but I'm gonna take it head on, like they've been in their lives. And just get through it. You know what I mean? Get through whatever challenges come. Even then, to go on to more positive aspects, what opportunities has it given you? I know personally, but what kind of things have you done that people might not be aware of when you've been in a wheelchair now? What kind of things have you done through that?
Yeah, so I think even before I was on a crutch, I think I did a parachute jump, which I would have never done it before. And then when I started, even before I started using my wheelchair, I joined a wheelchair basketball team. I wasn't in a wheelchair when I joined. I was in the crutch. Started that. I wouldn't have started that probably. at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, started joining the team.
So ahead of time, you was
Yeah.
thinking like, I'm
Yeah.
going to play this sport
Yeah.
in a wheelchair, even though I'm not in a wheelchair
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I want to kind of get involved
Yeah.
still because it's
Yeah.
keeping active and it's getting involved with the
Yeah.
team sport and stuff. The jump, was that for charity or was that just something you wanted to do?
That was a charity. Yeah, that was a charity
Okay.
thing. Yeah. But but I wouldn't have probably considered it before.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are like that. When you see these race for cancer and all this thing, it's normally because either that person's impacted or they know someone that's impacted by it.
Yeah.
So moving on to like you're trying to manage it with certain treatments. How helpful was it for you to get help outside of your family and friends? Like, what kind of things were there?
In the early days, there wasn't too much for me really. So you had to take medication. I thought I had relapsing remitting MS, and then they started me on some injections I had to do 3 times a week. Basically, they to try stop you from having the flare-ups and things. But I never really had any more flare-ups, so for years I was taking that medication and I probably didn't need to. So in the end, I went from, they said it wasn't relapsing anymore, it was secondary MS. Secondary MS is just where you gradually get worse, which is what happens to me.
So rather than episodes with the relapse and remitting, it was
gradually,
gradual.
Yeah, so with me, it's been years now, so I've had it since 2005. And now it's got to the point where year on year it's getting worse year on year, and this year I'm getting more cramps and spasms in my legs at night time. So that's the progression of it. It's going to get worse every year. So it's never going to get better unless they find something. It's just going to get worse.
Yeah, and as such, right now MS is like there's no cure basically for people that don't know.
No. There's different treatments for people with different forms, like relapsing remitting MS. There's ones, but for my form of secondary progressive MS, there's not. There might be something coming, but it might take a lot of years before they pass it. They've taken it so many years to pass tests and things.
Yeah.
So there might not be another treatment maybe for another 5-10 years. By that time, I don't know how I'll be in 5 or 10 years time. So
So it's that, it is an unfortunate thing where you're born at a certain time where they're still doing the research and development or whatever you want to call it. And I guess the thing was, even if they brought a cure out today, would you be too far progressed for it to reverse it, or whatever the case is? Do you know what I mean? Is that just going to hold it at bay?
Depends. It could be one that just stops it from getting worse. I think this one that's coming out is one that just halts progression really.
Wherever you was at, kind of thing.
Yeah. So it doesn't like fix anything or help. So it doesn't reverse anything.
Yeah.
So you just. I don't. A lot of people research stuff a lot every day and things, but you can, and there's so much lies on the internet and stuff, so you got to be careful.
Yes. Which leads me on to the next thing of. They were talking about, obviously you looked into this now, but using THC and CBD from cannabis, medical cannabis, and you actually went on to get a private checkup, or a private appointment with the GP.
Because I asked the NHS if I could try CBD oils, and they don't. In my district anyway, they don't offer it, or so the specialist said no, you can't. We don't offer it.
Wow. So just because of mainly the area that you're in and the condition, it doesn't tick the box.
Yeah, well, they just don't want to spend the money on it, I think.
Wow.
So he said, no, we don't do it. If you want to, you have to go down the private route. So which I've done now.
Okay. And I know the result, but just for the people watching, so that was to help with your spasms, and you was hoping any kind of relief from even your stiffness. And so far, after how many weeks has it been now?
It's only about a week, so it's just very early.
A week. What would you say you've noticed?
So it's getting a little bit more sleep at night. Initially, it's helping with the spasms and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, just it gives you a bit more of a relief, and yeah, just helps me to not have so many spasms at night time.
Yeah.
And and to release some of that pain from the stiffness. Yeah.
But you found that it doesn't solve your stiffness. You still feel pretty stiff.
Yes, it doesn't solve it. But then they after 4 weeks, you go back to them and then you say, and then they can maybe up the dose or whatever. So they so maybe after 4 weeks time.
Yeah.
I have they can change the dosage and things. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're still trying to get to the right kind of dose and the right kind of treatment there for that. But it's promising, it's promising just to relieve them symptoms at least, and maybe the intensity of the spasms. So Ray, just tell me what kind of things has not been so helpful, with society catching up, I feel, I know we've spoke about it, some of the disability stuff. What has not been so helpful for you, like in that process of adapting to life, with this disability, with this ailment? Do you know what I mean? What have you found frustrating?
They don't seem to give you that the government or the health system, they don't give you that a lot of support, as in to tell you things that could help you. Obviously, if you start to have mobility issues, there's benefits, things that you can go on to, but they don't tell you about them, or they don't tell you how to get them. And then there's different things like there's obviously wheelchairs and things are expensive.
Yeah.
And they don't help you to pay for your the government will give you a little amount to, if you apply towards your wheelchair, but the wheelchair this can cost anywhere upwards to £8,000. And the government might only give you maybe £1,000 towards it. So unless you can find a funding system somewhere, you're going to be stuck. Some people are going to be stuck not being able to get the equipment they need just to live a normal life.
Which to me was surprising. I always thought, not that you wish that on anyone, but if they're in that position of needing some kind of disability benefits or some kind of support and help, I thought, well, accommodation, mobility, everything should be the minimum that you get, because this is allowing you to live a more independent life. And for the government's sake, for that, in a more selfish way, if people are independent, they won't need so much help, if you know what I mean, from you. Like if you allow them the basics of mobility and housing and all this, then you can get on with your lives. And there's so many things I can imagine that come from other disabilities, even where your health will decline more because you're not included or inclusive of certain things.
Exactly. A lot of people, if you don't have the mindset to carry on, and then you think a lot of people just don't, and just you just become a statistics and things in the end. And because
it's just like one thing on top of the other.
Exactly. And you just even get the basics. It's the fight, and some people can't. They don't want to fight for it. They can't physically or mentally do that.
So just speak a little bit about how, obviously, you were working, even the time when you've had MS up to being in your crutch, and even at a point in your wheelchair, you was working. But then what kind of swung that the other way to you not being in work? What was the thing that wasn't helping you?
I was still working, and I'll still be working up to time. But then I was made redundant in 2019, and about September 2019. So when I was made redundant, that was like a big impact. So then
because there's not a lot of workplaces which will accommodate.
Exactly. So when you apply and you say you're in a wheelchair, they say it doesn't affect you get your chances, but it does. If 10 people come for a job, 15 people, and one of them is in a wheelchair, they're not going to. they think that person, even if it's going to cost them because they're going to have to get new equipment, or they might need time off or whatever. So they don't want to.
It's not ideal for them,
or
is
just
it?
out, yeah, because I always apply for jobs with reduced hours, but nobody wants to give any with reduced hours jobs at all. So for years and years I tried. And it's just there doesn't seem to be. It's not really talked about too much. I think they're just kind of, they don't want to say that there's discrimination against it, but there is.
Yeah. I think definitely, and the way this moves on to something that the majority of population are worrying about at the minute is there's this thing of AI and robotics, and replacing people's jobs. And now the everyday person is thinking, well, what is my purpose if I don't have a job, or this thing takes my job? What do I do? And I heard someone speaking about this on a podcast. I think he'd worked within AI within Google, and he was saying about how it's taken people's dignity if you take away their life's purpose of doing some meaningful work. And I know for yourself, sometimes you must feel a bit left out of society because you're not in a workplace. You're not having to socialize with people at work and have that kind of relationship and build up a kind of bond with people outside of your social, your friendship groups.
It's definitely,
And even you said the fact that some people are working within your friendship group. So then what do you do while everyone's at work kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's different, isn't it? Because they can't just, they want to work around what they're doing. I just try to keep myself busy. Always gonna make sure I get stuff out. Doing something.
You was doing some of the stuff with UOcean, clearing up the plastics from the canals and Riverside.
Still active with them. So I've got that, the basketball. And then obviously just going to the gym, keeping fit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just always try to make sure. I can't stay inside and not do anything. So I always try to make sure, and also it's if I do find something that I can do, I'd love to get back into doing something that is saying like that. Even if it's just volunteering or something, or
I really hope, I'm not saying from our talk, let alone, there's going to be loads of talks about this for people with disabilities, but I hope that the government or governments to come can give some kind of, unfortunately it has to be that normally, but some kind of regulation or policy or incentive to companies to hire people, because there's a big workforce out there of people that might not have the accessibility of everyone else, but if you accommodate it, can do the job just as well as anyone else. So I hope that gets highlighted. What I was going to move on to there as well is, for other people listening as well, is like, if they've maybe been diagnosed and they know they've got MS now themselves, what kind of advice would you give them of getting through that and going through life and the things that you can actually continue to do?
I mean, there's a lot more resources now for people, and there's different. I think there's one called Shift.ms, which helps people with MS. It's like a big online community that you join up, and everyone talks about their experiences with MS, and so you get to talk, and you can have like almost like a buddy that you talk to, who was also MS, so they understand where you're coming from, and it's just. So what's the question again?
To say like what kind of things can you continue just doing? As,
I mean,
once
everything really.
Once you get over that initial
you can do everything.
Fear of having this,
you just have to adjust your life. So you can do everything. I still do everything. I still drive. Still do go places and things. You just have to adjust. You just have to adjust how you do things to how your needs. Exactly. You can't. You don't. Because the moment you start stopping things and or saying you can't do things, there's always things you can do.
And one positive on that, which I was witness to, is me and you going on holiday. we went and did Route 66,
Yeah.
and we did LA to Chicago
Yeah.
over about 12 days or something like
it was,
that. And we drove it, so
Yeah.
it was a road trip,
Yeah.
and it was fine. We
Yeah.
did a lot of the sites,
Yeah,
you know,
we did,
we did Antelope Canyon,
Yeah.
which is like a sandy
that
floor,
was,
which was difficult, but the guide
Yeah.
helped,
Yeah.
and obviously
We
I
did
helped
it.
get you around it, and
we did it.
yeah, we was able to do something like that. So
we did,
you can even do world kind
we
of
did Grand Canyon
trips.
Yeah.
You've done Thailand with some of your friends as well that was in
went to Thailand,
wheelchairs?
Yeah, 2 of our friends in wheelchairs. So 3 of us who went to Thailand. Thailand's not accessible at all, but it was fun.
It was fun trying to figure it out, yeah?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And tell me, because you've got a power wheel, yeah? So that was the first time you used that, wasn't it, on holiday?
No, so I got that power wheel, I think about 2021, I think. Or 2020, yeah. Off a friend, yeah. But now I have used that on holiday, and I'm into Spain and that, a few other countries, and it just, I use it every day. Like, even like now, my gym's in town, so I'll use it to put on my chair and head it. Like we might go to town after this, so
it can get you to and from places.
Yeah, exactly. So there's always things to help you.
Yeah, I might put a little video snippet of you with the power wheel, because I think that's give you another level of independence again, where somewhere you might not necessarily want to push all the way to manually
or drive to.
That you can just travel there, and the range is what? It's literally miles and miles.
I think I've tested it so far. Mine it's around about 20-ish.
Yeah, so that's some good going. That will get you somewhere and back.
Exactly. So and,
nice.
Really quick.
But and you'll be using that because you're going on a family cruise soon. So
I'm going
that will come in handy getting around the cruise ship.
Getting around the ship, and then when you get off, and go to different places.
Amazing. Oh, Ray. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Like I say, I just want to reiterate like the strength of character that you've had. You're such a nice guy, which I know can be thrown around for people, but you are a genuine, really inspiring guy. I'm going to, if you don't mind, put your social media contact up, because you do a lot of posts, which I appreciate, and I know other people will appreciate going through that journey where you're updating your fitness regime and your general day-to-day life, like I say, taking part in the charity work and family life and holidays. And I think it's uplifting to see someone that is going through something, but also still just living a normal as possible life.
You have to keep on as good.
Exactly. Nice, Ray. Oh, wicked talking to you, man. All right. Until next time, guys, that's all we've got time for on Welcome to the Human Experience.
See you later.